Throughout the 21st centuries, minorities have made significant strides towards equality in American society. We've seen movies like Get Out, Crazy Rich Asians, and The Farewell win attention all over the world. A lot of the times, media sets the tone for morals and values in society. So how does growing up with digital media mean for BU students who came from underrepresented backgrounds?
To me, the idea of the double consciousness is this concept that you can't have just one singular unified identity in terms of referring to who you are as a person, as in your background or your culture, and that identity in that sense is always factual.
For double conscious for me, it was always like an internal conflict I felt. I grew up in the predominantly white neighborhood, and I always felt like I was never like white enough to fully fit in, or I was never like Korean enough to kind of fit in with that group. So I always kind of felt like this internal conflict between like my two sides.
I sound American, I think American, and yet I am still also very much an Orthodox Jew, and that is at heart who I am. So I'm very, very double in that sense.
I think there's this idea that, like sort of what Julie was touching on, like you're never really adequate in either culture that you're a part of.
Hollywood has a very long way to go for sensitivities in portraying minorities.
It has progressed a lot though. Like before, like I would never see an Asian face like in TV or on a movie or anything. I never got that representation. All my role models growing up were white women. Like I never really saw a female Asian character that I really identified with.
Recently, rap music and hip hop became the most dominant genre in America. So in a way, African Americans and blacks, they've taken the central spotlight when it comes to media representation, at least in the music scene. And you have a lot of rappers that are coming out and saying, look, I rap about doing lean, I rap about doing drugs, but I don't really do that. Or you have these millionaire rappers that still rap about, committing acts of violence and robbery and just stuff that you just wouldn't expect of them. And I think a lot of them, in a sense, need to mature at their music. And they need to go and spread not necessarily more positive messages, but at least more accurate messages of their current lifestyle or their true thoughts. And in a way, they should be using their platform. Again, it's up to the artists to use the platform how they should, but I feel like at least some of them should use their platform to spread more wisdom onto Black communities.
The way that my parents brought me up is the way that I want to continue growing up and the way that I want to raise my children. So in that sense, I don't really have a dichotomy between my beliefs and my parents' beliefs.
My dad and I are definitely very different. I could tell like just like how he was brought up, like as a man growing up in Asia with like a strong, prominent father. I have tattoos, and like I know it's also like a big thing in like in older Asian cultures, like you don't want to get tattoos to like taint your body. But so every time I see like my grandparents, I have to like cover up, make sure they don't see what I have, or like my piercings too. I try to keep that to a minimum, and just kind of little things like that.
My mom still tells me don't leave my dorm after 6 p.m. Unfortunately, last semester I had a 6:30 p.m. class, so at CIS. So she's like, "Oh, are you in your room?" I'm like, "Absolutely," as I'm walking up the elevator. So yeah, again, best of intentions. It's just impossible to make her see eye to eye, and there's just different ways of doing that, and I just can't convince her. So I just lie and tell her, "Yeah, no, I've never been off campus before. I've never taken the T."
Oh gosh.
Anyone, it's not trained journalists, it's citizens, it's us. It's like people who have their own thoughts, like that are wildly different, that are pushing these ideas out there. Social media is such a connected way to like I can post something right now, and in 2 seconds, like someone across the world can see that. And it's just the way that everything is connected, and you can spread any idea, any thought that comes into your mind, and spread it publicly to the open to anyone to see. And I feel like that's how most of the hate messages and the negative comments come from, because I can easily just say something, have a racist comment about the coronavirus, post that, and then that promulgates more negative thoughts about it.
I don't know like where we can like interject into the media to like say like, oh yeah, this is wrong. I mean, like this is the part of like being in the industry, and like you're like diversifying, right? And like you're bringing new perspectives in, and to say that like this is not okay.